Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine waking up to the calmest Sunday of your life. A warm breeze moves through the palms. Quiet waves lap a still harbor. The sky is so peaceful it feels impossible for anything to go wrong. But on this morning, the world was only seconds away from breaking apart. Today we step inside those moments, minute by minute. We walk through the day when silence turned to fire. We walk through the day history changed forever. This is December 7th, 1941. This is a day in history. The morning began like any Sunday at Pearl Harbor. The sky was soft, pale, almost sleepy. Palm trees swayed gently in the warm breeze. The water looked like polished glass. Sailors were waking up slowly. Some sat down to breakfast. Others wrote letters home. Laughter floated from bunk rooms. Many simply enjoyed a slow Hawaiian morning. No alarms pierced the air. No tension clouded the base. Nothing suggested anything would change. But the biggest moments often arrive quietly, without warning, without mercy. In a few minutes, the sky above would erupt. The entire world would be dragged into war. This is the story of that morning. A walk through a day when peace shattered. A day carved into memory. Far beyond the horizon, 6 carriers cut the ocean. They moved silently through the vast Pacific. On their decks, hundreds of planes sat ready. Pilots climbed into cockpits. Mechanics tightened the last bolts. Engines hummed like distant thunder. The plan had been rehearsed for months. Secrecy had wrapped the operation. Their mission was simple and brutal: cripple the Pacific Fleet, strike fast, strike hard, and leave before dawn. Admiral Yamamoto knew the risk. He also knew Japan's resources were dwindling. The US oil embargo squeezed their empire. Pearl Harbor seemed the only path forward. One pilot later said he felt fate on his shoulder. As the sun rose over Hawaii, fate was moving. At 7:02 a.m., 2 radar operators saw blips. Dozens of blips approached fast across screens. They reported it up the chain. The officer on duty dismissed the contact. He assumed returning American planes. The soldiers returned to routine, unaware. Above them, Japanese planes descended. Families prepared for church. Children fed pets. Sailors polished decks. No one looked up. No one imagined what was coming. At 7:48 a.m., the first bombs fell. The calm Sunday shattered instantly. A deafening explosion tore through the harbor. Then another, and another. Dive bombers screamed from the sky. Engines roared. Metal flashed in sunlight. Zero fighters strafed the airfields. They fired at anything that moved. Barracks, ships, men. Chaos everywhere. Torpedo planes skimmed above the water. Battleship Row became a target. The USS Oklahoma began to roll. The USS West Virginia was repeatedly hit. The USS California broke into flames. A bomb pierced the USS Arizona's deck. The forward magazine detonated like a volcano. A fireball shot into the sky. Over 1,100 men died instantly on the Arizona. Witnesses said the harbor seemed to lift upward. The once calm water now burned. Thick black smoke curled toward the heavens. Alarms finally screamed across the base. Men sprinted barefoot toward stations. Some carried rifles. Some carried friends. Many didn't yet understand what had happened. They knew one thing. They were under attack. Gunners tried to fire back amid the chaos. Planes burned on runways before they could take off. Vehicles flipped under blasts. Buildings crumbled from shockwaves. A nurse ran into burning barracks again and again. Sailors manually loaded anti-aircraft guns without power. 2 young pilots took off in dress clothes under fire. They fought and shot down enemy planes. In chaos, ordinary people became heroes. At 8:54 a.m., the second wave descended. More than 160 aircraft returned to the attack. Bombers, dive bombers, fighters filled the sky. Hangars were hit and fuel depots exploded. Ships already damaged took more hits. The air tasted metallic and hot. The scene was thick with smoke and ash. Screams, alarms, and explosions filled the morning. Men shouted names and passed orders in the din. By 9:45 a.m., the attack finally ended. A terrible silence settled over the harbor. The silence that follows a nightmare. When the smoke cleared, the devastation was overwhelming. 8 battleships were damaged or destroyed. 188 aircraft lay ruined. 2,403 Americans were dead. 1,178 were wounded. Oil slicks burned on the water's surface. Half-submerged ships leaned at strange angles. Bodies floated among the wreckage. Men wandered the ruins in shock. They called out for friends and searched for survivors. A 19-year-old sailor wrote of water and sky burning. Many did not yet know who had attacked them. All knew everything had changed. News of the attack raced across the United States. Families gathered at radios, stunned and fearful. Some cried, some prayed, some stood frozen. President Roosevelt prepared his address to the nation. He called December 7th a date which would live in infamy. The attack united the American people like nothing else. Congress declared war on Japan within days. Germany and Italy soon declared war on the United States. World War II deepened and spread. Pearl Harbor was more than a military strike. It was a global turning point. It reshaped the future of nations and people. Today, the USS Arizona rests beneath the harbor, a silent tomb beneath dark water. Oil still rises from the wreck, black tears. Visitors stand above the memorial and look down. They see the shadow of the ship beneath the waves. They feel the echo of that terrible morning. December 7th is more than a date on a calendar. It is more than a headline in a paper. It is more than a chapter in a history book. It is a reminder of how quickly peace can break. It shows how fragile our routines truly are. Ordinary mornings can become unforgettable moments. Sailors woke expecting a quiet day, but history had other plans. This was the day the sky broke open, the day nations were pulled into war, the day that would live in infamy. This was a day in history. Remember the names of the lost. Remember the acts of those who helped. Remember the cost of surprise and conflict. Stand quietly at the memorial in your mind. Let the weight of that morning sink in. Let the stories of bravery and loss remain. Let this day teach how fragile peace can be. Let it remind us to cherish calm mornings. Let it honor those who never came home. The harbor still holds their memory. The past echoes below the waves. We walk away changed by what we have seen. We carry forward the lessons of December 7th. We remember that one morning can alter centuries. We remember the power of courage in chaos. We remember the cost of war. We hold the silence that followed close. We hold the faces of those lost close. This is how we keep history alive. This is how we honor sacrifice. This is how we learn from the past. Today we walked through a single day that changed the world. Thank you for taking this walk through history with us. Where should we walk next? Tell us in the comments. Choose our next day. Subscribe to keep walking through time with us. Hit the bell to be with us on the next Time Walk. Share this story to remember together. Pause for a moment and reflect on December 7th. Let silence speak for those who cannot. Let memory honor the brave. Let history guide our future choices. Close your eyes again if you need to. Imagine that calm Sunday once more. Then remember the day it changed forever. This was Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. This was a day in history.